Hello everybody, welcome to my second Two Girls in a Kit video. Today I'm sharing two birthday cards that I made. I made one for my mom and one for my sister's birthdays in May. And there I'm just showing on the recipe card that I decided I wanted to use embroidery thread in this. So there's one of the journaling cards, some enamel dots, some rhinestones, some puffy stickers, some whatnots, both from the Carpe Diem and 77 collections. And then the 6x6 paper pack, I grabbed that sheet of scratch paper, and then that's a sheet, and you can't tell too much, but it's white and it has little pink polka dots. And then there's some eyelets that I'm going to use, a confetti punch, some glitz washi, some orange and white baker's twine, a sticker sheet, some pink vellum, some light blue paper, some gold glitter, actually it's green glitter paper, and then this really pretty pattern paper from Pink Paisley. It kind of looks like it has a fun watercolor kind of design to it. And I'm going to use this paper as the base of both my cards. So I'm deciding how I want to cut it, and I'm going to have just cut it right down the middle and have two 6x12 sheets to use for my bases. And I'm just deciding which color I want to use for which card, and I'm going to use this lighter color first. For the first card, it has a little more pink on it. And I'm taking some of the whatnots, and I'm going to use this fun 4x6 whatnot as my base. And since my card's 6 inches wide, I'm making a little mark so that I can trim it so that it fits inside nicely with just a little bit of a border. And yep, and then there it fits perfect. And now I'm deciding which end, if I want to use the top or the bottom end of the paper, the background paper. And there you can see I decided to use the top, and I'm just folding it. And I decide that I want the pattern for the base of my card to be on the inside, so I'm going to flip it and have the white on the outside now before I trim it down into an even card. And there you go. So I have the pretty pattern on the inside, and then I added my sentiment to my mom on the inside as well with that pretty paper. So now I'm going to work on the design for the front of my card, and I grabbed some of the embellishments I'm going to use. There's the little scrap piece of paper that I used from the 6x6 paper pad, and I'm just taking the glitz washi and I'm going to line it up. I'm trying to be purposeful in where I place the washi because I want the pattern on the washi to actually line up somewhat. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to do about 4 layers high of washi, and then I'm just going to trim the edges off so that it's a little bit easier to work with. And next I'm going to grab, I have a punch that's in the shape of a small tag, and I'm going to punch out not the whole tag but 3/4 of it from the top. And then you can see I'm just trimming that little excess piece off. I'm going to use the other little piece of washi covered paper in my next card. And to make this tag stand out a little bit more and be kind of more of a fun interactive element, I'm going to use an eyelet, and I'm just picking out what colors I want to use. And I ended up going for the darker gold over the more yellow gold for this card. So there I have my tag, and then you can see quickly off camera I took that piece of paper and ran it to my typewriter and then came back, and I have happy birthday now written on the other piece of paper that was white with the little pink polka dots. So now I have a little happy birthday banner, and I'm picking out some rhinestones, and I'm going to get some more whatnots. This one's from the Carpe Diem line. I'm going to use that cute little fox. And now I'm just going to start layering everything together, and I layered the vellum down and sewed it down with my sewing machine, and I wanted the thread to really pop, so I used a bright orange thread. And I'm going to layer my green glitter tag next, and I don't want it to flop around too much, so I'm adhering it down to the vellum, but once I have it down and I turn it around and trim the excess off, you'll see that I also run it to my sewing machine just so I have more than one element with sewing on this card. I'm just going to trim the thread off, and I don't always trim the thread off. A lot of time I actually leave it, but this time I wanted to trim it off. And I'm kind of deciding where I want to place the different elements, and I decided that I wanted to use a strip of that washi tape layered behind the pink vellum on that fun card. Of course, I should have done it first, but I didn't think of it until after it was already adhered, so it was a little bit more difficult than it needed to be, but it looks really good. And you can't tell as much in the video, but in person it really does stand out, and it adds a nice little hint of blue, which I feel really makes the green and gold kind of blend nicely with the orange and pink. And I'm just going to adhere more of my layers down. And since it's a card and it was going to be handled quite a bit, I opted for this type of adhesive over my tape runner, just because it's a bit stronger, and I wanted something that was going to stand up to more handling. It's a little more time consuming, but I think it's worth it. And now I'm picking out what flour I want to use, and I opted for the sticker sheet flour rather than the puffy sticker flour. And the sticker sheet flour is sticky on the back. I don't remember what I did to it, but I did something and it accidentally made it so it wasn't as sticky as it should have been, so I had to add more adhesive to the back. But and I'm gonna go ahead and mold my little happy birthday banner, and I want it to kind of pop up and look a little bit like it's floating in the wind. So I'm going to take some foam adhesive and put really thick foam adhesive like right in the center, and that'll give it a nice little arch, kind of bubble. And the adhesive I have on the left side, the left end, is going to be perfectly flat. And then I'm just layering down my cute little fox. And this card's really just about layers, adding textures and patterns and making colors flow, and I wanted to choose colors that, you know, were happy and cheerful. So the Two Girls in a Kit May mood board was perfect for inspiration, because this is the card for my mom. And I decided I wanted some foam adhesive on that right edge of the little happy birthday banner, but I opted for foam adhesive that was not as thick as the circle foam adhesive in the middle of the banner. And now I'm going to grab a rhinestone, and I liked the Oh Happy Day because it was in that really pretty gold color that matches with the eyelet on my tag, and it complements that green glitter tag really well. And then I grabbed that gold heart from the sticker sheet, and rather than just setting it straight down on the fox, I decided I wanted to make things a little more difficult for myself and layer some foam adhesive behind it. And the reason I say difficult is normally it would be super easy to just layer foam adhesive behind a sticker, but because this sticker has, you know, to the right and left of the heart is just really, really thin and flimsy, I was afraid it was going to break off. So I wanted to cut tiny little foam adhesive pieces that would fit on each end so that it didn't break. And it worked fine. It was just a little more time consuming than it needed to be. And you'll see I messed with the placement just a little bit. I mean, I know I want it basically where the hearts should be on the fox, and so that's where it ends up going. Right there. It has some nice little depth with the foam adhesive. I think that's nice. And so now that I have my front designed, I'm just going to attach it to the base of my card. And I'm going to use a bunch of adhesive on the back. The only thing about this type of adhesive is it's not very forgiving, and I'm not the best at lining these type of things up so they're not crooked. So a lot of times I opt to use wet adhesive so that it's easier to move around. But I wanted this card to be super flat and I didn't want it to have any bubbles or anything, so I just did my best. And it's a little crooked, but it's not too bad. So there's the finished card. The pretty pattern paper on the inside. And now for my second card. This one I made for my sister. And for this one I'm using the 4x6 vertical journaling card that I designed to match the May mood board. And I'm grabbing a couple of the whatnots from the Glitz Carpe Diem line. And first I'm going to take that Don't Give Up little sheet there, and I'm just going to trim it down so that it fits inside the parameters of the base of my card. And I want to layer it with this journaling card. And I do feel kind of bad covering up the Don't Give Up sentiment, but I wanted that really pretty thick textured cream paper around the border of my, stark white journaling card. And I think it complements it really well, so I was really happy with that. So now I'm just deciding where I want it to fold, and I like that a lot. And for this card, unlike the first card, I did opt to have the pattern portion of the paper on the outside of the card, on the outside of the base, because I thought the little pop of color was nice. So you'll see the inside's just plain white, and I'm totally okay with that. I'm going to grab some more pieces to use to embellish the front. There's the baker's twine. You can see I didn't use much baker's twine at all. I'm using my confetti punch with what's left of the scrap of paper that I covered in washi, and I created some little confetti with the washi design layered with the paper. And that turned out kind of fun. And now I'm just kind of moving stuff around. I took that little blue sheet of paper and typed happy birthday on it for the happy birthday banner for this card. And kind of setting all my elements out to decide what I want to do. And first thing is I want to layer my baker's twine. So traditionally I would use baker's twine or embroidery thread, and I would embroider like the fun Swiss cross or the You Are Loved design on the journaling card. But for some reason for this card I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted that little pop of orange right underneath the heart on the left hand side. So I found an orange baker's twine and just decided to bunch it up behind there. And I'm pretty happy with it. I've never done it before, and I think it's fun. I think it turned out nice. And so now I'm just popping up the puffy sticker that I grabbed and layering it with the heart. And adding a gem or a rhinestone. That one has a cute little feather on it. It's a gold feather. It's adorable. And then I'm figuring out the placement of my happy birthday sentiment. And I'm going to do the same thing with this banner as I did with the first one, where I add the thickest foam adhesive in the middle and then a thinner foam adhesive on the right edge, and then just the flat adhesive, completely flat adhesive on the left edge. And then I'm gonna layer it down, I did decide to layer it underneath the heart and the baker's twine. to kind of emphasize the layering. And then you can see it has a nice little arch there. So it looks like it's floating. And I'm just kind of playing with the placement of the confetti. I think confetti really looks nice pretty much anywhere, but I wanted to play with it a little bit. I feel like confetti always looks best like right after you throw it down, and wherever it lands is always the nicest. But unfortunately, I didn't really do that with this card. So I'm just taking my wet adhesive and doing little dots and attaching my confetti. And that adhesive, again, it's my favorite adhesive. It's called the Ultimate. It's like the best all-purpose adhesive. You can see I added my writing on the inside of the base of my card so that I can start layering things together. And sometimes I handwrite on the inside of my cards. Sometimes I use my typewriter. It really just depends. I guess for this project I was in the mood for using my typewriter, so that's what I decided to do. And now I'm going to layer these pieces together. And again, I'm really not the best at layering like this, so I end up finding that putting it on its side like this helps me quite a bit more, and it ends up being much straighter. And that seemed to work well. And then I don't add quite as much adhesive for this part of it. And the video really got washed out and it's super white, so I apologize for that. I'm not sure exactly what happened. The sun must have come out really strong, but you can see some clearer pictures in the final shots from my camera. And I'm going to add some little enamel dots just to kind of finish it off. I added a large, medium, and small, so all three sizes. And again, I'm just kind of playing with the placement, deciding what I think looks nice. And it's that smallest size that I, for some reason, have the hardest time with, and I think I decide I like it there. And that is pretty much it for this card. So here's a close-up. And that is it. Thank you so much for taking a peek at my two cards. I really am enjoying all the product and the colors from our May mood board and all the fun stuff in my kit. Most likely I will have one more video for May, and then we'll start doing some fun stuff for June. I hope that you're enjoying the journaling cards, and have a lovely day. Thanks for watching. Bye.